So we started on August 10th with our first practice, and we've been practicing every day. And these guys have been working extremely hard, which is fantastic. You know, with the new changes with the NCAA has been, you know, very good for our guys. They get a lot more mental reps, and they get an opportunity to you know, walk through things a lot more. So it's been really good, especially for all these new young guys that we have on our team.
What are some of the things that this is year 2 for you? What are some of the things you're going to take away from year 1?
It's a good question. Year 1 was just implementing the program, right, and making sure that our guys understood what I wanted. Now it's that next step for our guys, especially for our seniors. You know, we want to make sure that they go out on the right note here in their senior year, because this is the last 10 games at least for them to play. So it's not so much teaching the philosophy and the program. Now it's, all right, let's go. Let's execute the philosophy and execute that program.
Yeah, not that you wanted to go, that you didn't want to go, you know, undefeated last year, but you didn't set the bar too high. So is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think what our guys have learned from last year is that we were in a lot of football games, and it might have been a play here in the fourth quarter or another play here in the fourth quarter that just basically decided the outcome of the game. And our guys, you know, use that as motivation this offseason, and then they have used that as motivation here in the preseason, because they understand how important that playing a full 60-minute game is for them.
And you've been with these guys for a few weeks now. If you had to pick an identity of this team right now, what do you think it would be?
Tough. We're tough. They've been grinding everything out. You know, we've been grinding out in 90-degree heat, and we've been dodging rain and thunderstorms and all that good stuff, but these guys are tough. They get up every morning, and we lift weights, and then we go eat breakfast. And then we do our walkthrough, and then we practice in the heat of the day. So our guys have been grinding out, and they're tough.
Who's going to lead your squad this year?
It's a good question. We have 6 captains that kind of went through an entire process. They have to go through an interview process, get letters of recommendation. They get interviewed by their team, by the coaching staff. So we have on defense, we have Mitch Oscom, who's a returning starter for us. Jack Kay, who is our starting middle linebacker, a returning all-conference player for us. On offense, we have Eric Beard, who's a 3-year starter at offensive line. Brady Nyland, who's a 3-year starter at offensive line. Bailey Partington, who is a returning starter at wide receiver. And then Dakota Nelson, who we get back this year.
So as you look ahead to next Thursday, what are your thoughts about trying? What are we going to have to do? Let's talk on your side. What do you guys have to do to be successful?
I think the biggest thing after looking back at last year's game is we have to eliminate the turnovers, and we have to eliminate the mental mistakes. You know, we had a lot of mental mistakes when it came to, you know, penalties and things like that, so we have to eliminate those and, you know, eliminate the turnovers. If we don't give them the ball, they can't score. So yeah, that's one of the big things for us, is just eliminating those mental mistakes.
And on the flip side, what does trying do well that you have to stop?
Well, Coach Abs is a great coach. You know, I've always admired Coach Abs. He's always been a really good friend in the coaching profession. You know, even before I was at Manchester, when I was up at Alma College, and you know, I respect him a ton. And you know, he's got a good football team, and you know, they run the ball really well. They did last year. I mean, their running back was top 5 in the nation last year. They always have a really good offensive line, and their defense is really, really tough, always. So it'll be a good, interesting battle for us. It'll be a really good battle for us, and it'll be we're excited to play. I mean, I think we're tired of practicing. I think we're ready to play.
Coach, in terms of offense this year, skilled positions is going to be a luxury for you guys. You've got a lot of talent at the running back position and the wide receiver position. Up front, though, maybe a question mark, because there are a lot of guys that have gone away from the program in the last couple of years with graduation and some injuries and such. How's the offensive line coming together, and guys under center with the quarterback situation?
Yeah, so our offensive line is, you know, obviously that's where Coach Cashdahl, our offensive coordinator, that's his position group. So we've always had that kind of next man mentality up with that group. But for the most part, we're basically returning 4 starters from last year. When you think about who finished that Anderson game to the guys who are going to be playing in our first game against Trine, you know, there's 4 starters there. Quarterback-wise, you know, Alex Downard started the last 5 games of the year for us, and he'll be – right now he's winning the job, and he'll probably most likely start against Trine. So, you know, he's a young man who, you know, on this campus is very well respected and does a lot of things for Manchester University, and he has a great passion for Manchester University, and, you know, he's excited about his opportunity.
You had talked beforehand, early in preseason camp, the defensive line and special teams are going to be up in the air. Is that battle sorted itself out yet?
On the defensive line, you know, we have those guys that played a lot last year as underclassmen, and they're kind of taking the bull by the horns, I guess, for lack of a better phrase, and they're taking the leadership role, and they really have had a really good camp. You know, obviously having the addition of Coach Miller and him coaching the defensive line and not me, they get their own coach. They don't have to worry about the head coach having to go deal with something else. So it's been a bonus for them. But, you know, those upperclassmen have stepped up, and they've done a great job. Special teams-wise, it's still a battle right now. You know, we got some young guys, 2 freshmen and a sophomore, so they're battling out day by day.
Anybody else?
Can you put into words just what it's like getting ready to play this first game? Because at this point, you think you know your team, but you really don't know them till they get that first game in.
Right. Yeah. That's always the key, right? I guess we'll find out after they kick the ball off at 7:30. So we'll find out what kind of football team we're going to be, and I think for our guys right now, just the excitement to get out there and play against a different colored jersey. And, you know, the Trine game has been such a great thing, I think, for both schools, because we play on a Thursday night. You know, it's one of the first college football games in the country, and, you know, the atmosphere for those games is unbelievable. And they've always been pretty close games. And so I think that is one of those things that creates excitement for our guys. And, you know, they know that they had opportunity to win the ball game last year. And, you know, again, we talked about those mistakes and those, you know, mental mistakes that we need to fix.
Coach, first 2 non-conference games of the season are both evening games. You got a 7:30 start and a 6 p.m. start, which are a little bit different than the rest of your conference schedule that all start at 1:30. How do you approach those games differently in terms of preparation and getting your guys ready on a Saturday?
Yeah, so it is a little different playing at night, right? You have to learn how to catch a ball with the bright lights in your eyes and compared to the sun. So we've had a few night practices here in our preseason camp, so that is something that we've tried to help our guys with. But even during the weeks of our preparation for those games, we will make sure that we get outside during the nighttime, turn the lights on in the stadium, and make sure we practice out there.
Does it matter where the home opener's at?
No, never.
Where the season opener's at?
No, never has. They just want to play. Our guys are ready to play.